That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about No One Will Save You, the Jussie Smollett story.
Oh, I might have to edit that. Keep going.
It's the sophomore film directed by Brian Duffield, and Hulu is releasing it September 22nd, 2023.
The director?
Brian Duffield.
What have they done?
His previous features director was Spontaneous in 2020 with Charlie Plummer, which I have not seen. I know you were a fan of Love and Monsters, which he wrote.
Oh, I watched it on a cruise ship. Mm-hmm. Yes, I thought it was good.
Also wrote The Babysitter, that got a lot of attention. But yeah.
Okay, this movie. An exiled, anxiety-ridden homebody must battle an alien who's found its way into her home. I watched the trailer and thought it looked interesting. The premise sounds interesting.
Well, because you said, it feels like a quiet place and signs based on the preview.
My pull quote, if this movie had started where it ended, I'd like it so much more.
Very succinct. Mine has a similar tone. A familiar and overtly elementary exploration of alien invasion as emotional metaphor, ending just when it stumbles into something interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty one note for the first like 75 minutes, mm-hmm. and then in the end, it's like, oh, okay, we're going somewhere, and then it's done. But the story is Brynn, played by
Kaitlyn Dever,
who I liked. I thought she did a very good job in this role.
She does do a good job. It's a performance of survival.
So Brynn, we can see has some anxiety, maybe some social anxiety, but we find out later on that it revolves around the death of a friend of hers,
Maud
Collins. And the way Maud dies is pretty shocking. It kind of made me giggle because it feels so out of left field, which we can get to. But Brynn is responsible for the death of Maud, and they live in this small town somewhere, and Brynn still lives there in this house that it appears she maybe inherited from her parents. It's a very big, beautiful house.
It's very well kept.
Very well kept.
She doesn't seem to have a day job. I don't know how the property taxes must be nil. Beautiful home.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I had a lot of questions regarding that.
Same.
But we do see her at one point go into town to get help. And
after the alien has arrived.
Well, let's just say it. So very early on in the film, the alien arrives and Brynn is sort of being chased around by it. And Brynn ends up killing the alien.
Mm-hmm.
So she kind of passes out, wakes up in the morning, and then rides into town to get help. And when she walks into the police station, the sheriff and this woman see her, and we see that the sheriff, his last name is Collins, and the woman looks at Brynn like she's the devil and spits in her face. So we can assume that those people are Maud's parents, and of course hate Brynn because she killed their daughter. The way Brynn killed this girl is like back when they were maybe like 10 or 11.
I think we see the gravestone, it's 2012.
Okay, so it looks like they were like in an argument, like in the swamps or the marsh, I don't know. And Maud pushes Brynn to the ground, and Brynn grabs a rock and smashes that girl in the side of the head, and I guess that killed her. That seemed a bit much.
Yeah.
But, because I was for sure thinking maybe it was like...
More accidental.
More
innocent.
But anyway, so I think the title comes from No One Will Help You, because she goes into, like, clearly this town hates this woman. But when Brynn goes into town, she sees that the aliens have taken over everything.
Or are about to, yeah.
And what the aliens are doing is they are like infecting humans and then taking over their bodies.
Yeah, they're making them ingest this globular sea anemone looking thing, and then you can see it pulsating in their throats.
So the middle part of the film is Brynn battling aliens of different shapes and sizes, and then they end up abducting her and taking her up to the spaceship to like, apparently they can read her mind, and they see that she's different from all the other humans. So they decide to send her back to Earth, and she's gonna teach the aliens how to be human, I guess, because the final scene of the film is there's like a big party, and we can see that Brynn is all happy and she's organized this big, it feels like the Strawberry Festival in Tu Wong Fu, and all the aliens are dancing with her.
I was gonna say like a positive spin on the end of Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
The end.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was the most interesting part, is that maybe these aliens see her as this socially anxious pariah, or like this high anxiety pariah, and they kind of like her approach to life, So they want to mimic her. I thought that could have been a super interesting movie. Yeah, what if aliens met like, I don't know, like not the best example of a human being. Like,
If the weak shall inherit the earth.
and then they duplicate
meek.
her. And then maybe the film would have been these aliens duplicating this very meek, troubled person, so that when humans realize what's going on, they're very easily able to overtake these aliens because they don't know how to be assertive and aggressive. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Because we're all assholes who will mow everyone down. And then you have this woman who's like incapable. The opening of the film is she can barely put mail in the mailbox.
Yes.
So that's the person teaching the aliens how to act. We really needed to see what that does for them, but we don't.
It was it feels like a throwback to a different time, a different tradition of storytelling. There's an Agnes Moorehead led episode of The Twilight Zone where she's a woman at a farmhouse and a UFO lands in the attic and she's contending with these aliens coming out of the UFO. It feels very much like that. But you could also, there's a whole bunch of horror television films from the 70s, but I was reminded of Karen Black in Trilogy of Terror, or Kim Darby in Don't Be Afraid of the Dark.
Yeah. We're in modern time based on like the year the girl died and how old Brynn looks and the cars we see. So I was a little confused why she didn't use her cell phone or get on the internet to try to figure out anything.
You've got a rotary phone, yeah.
So it felt kind of like I don't know, because some films do a good job of making the time period ambiguous. This one didn't, so I was kind of distracted by the fact that she doesn't know what's going on around her.
We also see her mother's gravestone. And I think that said 2019. So yeah, we are at the forefront of right now.
Yeah, we see that the opening of the film, we see there's like a crop circle in her yard that she tries to water because she thinks maybe it's just dying grass. And then we see other people have these crop circles. So if it's not clear that the alien, because we actually see the aliens, like it was clear to me that they had overtaken this little town. So the crop circles seemed kind of like, okay.
And there is some anxiety and suspense in that first visitation when it comes inside the house.
I thought that was the best scene.
Yeah.
And then she gets on a bus to try to escape the town when she realizes that there's trouble everywhere. And then we see that most of the passengers on the bus have been infected by the aliens.
Including the mailman who's on the bus.
I didn't think that was super creepy, but I mean, that was something. I think where things start to feel really one note is when she gets back to her house and night falls. And then we see the aliens.
They come take the body of the dead one. And then we see that whatever is in the beam from the mothership up above gets paralyzed or stuck. So there's some things that it gets, kind of...
Yeah, I was confused by that. Like, does it only bring up, like, alien matter? So it won't pick up non-alien things, maybe? I don't know. But there was a lot of beam me up Scotty stuff happening that felt like, okay, they finally do bring her up there. But before that, we see, like, there's a big alien with multiple legs. Then there's one that looks like your traditional, like...
Gray man.
Right, and then there's one that, like, it seems like some of them walk on their fingers. Like, they're...
Initially, I think the effects are good, but I got tired of how the aliens looked as well.
I did as well. Her fighting the aliens before she gets sent up, I thought, like, her lighting one on fire.
Oh, I also thought this was a TV movie, too, that Estelle Parsons, James Earl Jones movie, The UFO Incident.
Oh, yeah.
I thought of that a couple times, too.
But I think the Flash... So, right as the aliens are, like... There's a moment when the aliens have her, and then we get, like, they're looking into her mind, and that's when we see what happened to Maud.
And she's still writing letters to Maud as if Maud's still alive. I think there's a missed opportunity to have made Brynn a more well-rounded three-dimensional character that we're really caring for. I think Kaitlyn Dever does a really good job in this kind of fight-or-flight mode and has some great facial expressions, but
yeah.
I don't think she's supported well enough by the script.
I also didn't understand why the aliens are kind of playing with her when she's killed several of them. Like...
Yeah, she's killed at least 3.
The other problem is I assume that these aliens that have traveled time and space and have this technology... they would be highly intelligent. So it always feels kind of like, what is their intention? It would either be like they'd have some humanity, or it's all about taking over our planet and it means war. So the fact that they're like allowing her to persist after she's killed several of them didn't quite make sense to me. And then they bring her up to read her mind and
Throw her back like a fish.
yeah, I like I guess I didn't understand why they connected to her trauma.
Yeah.
It just all seems like a stretch.
Yeah, it seems like we could have, with another draft or several, could have really fleshed this out.
Sorry to these people, but yeah, I thought this was just okay.
Yes, I agree.
What would you give this movie?
2, because it was a little dull.
Oh, well, I'd give it 2.5 out of 5. Anything else?
No.
Hit the thanks button. Listen to our podcast. Bye.